Olivia?
Does that kind of like humanize people?
Oh, absolutely. Does it dehumanize? In fact, some modern critics, more recently, in like last 100 years or so, 150 years, only very recently in the history of philosophy, have said, oh, there's a dimension of human experience that is emotional, is subjective, and it should be addressed. It shouldn't just be pushed off to the side as irrelevant. In fact, a lot of feminist critics have come out because this ethical theory, this approach, very masculine, very aggressive, very authoritarian. Whereas some of the feminist critiques have said, no, we need to take emotion into it, we need to take subjectivity into it and throw it into the process. Sexist? Yes, because the feminist critique says that the entire history of Western philosophy is sexist because it prioritizes a male experience over a female experience. Where is Socrates? Where is Socrates? Where was he before that? Where was he before that? Out on the streets. He wasn't at home. He wasn't with his kids. He wasn't having that experience. Does that make sense? His male experience doesn't really consider children. So it's very easy for him to say, I'm going to ignore my children. Why? Because he never really pays attention to his kids. Historically, the male experience has been an experience devoid of children because male experience has been the workplace. Male experience has been somewhere outside of the home, whereas female experience historically has been within the home. And the rules for what is right and what is wrong have been determined by a male professional business work experience, not by a home experience. Does that make sense? Okay, you've just gotten a feminist critique of ethics. There you go. But let's proceed. Think not of life and children first, and of justice afterwards, but of justice first, that you may be justified before the princes of the world below. For neither will you, nor any that belong to you, be happier or holier or juster in this life, or happier in another, if you do as Crito bids. If you pay attention to this guy right here, who wants you to act subjectively according to your own emotion, your own feelings toward your children, then you are acting irrationally, you're not acting right. Now you depart in innocence, a sufferer and not a doer of evil, a victim not of the laws but of men. Socrates is about to die. How does he feel okay about that? Why is he okay with dying? Leanne? Because he knows that he's innocent. He has done nothing wrong. He's dying with a clear conscience. You might have heard a sentiment like this before. That, hey, okay, that's fine. I'm dying. I'm suffering. But you know what? I'm innocent. I haven't done anything wrong. Socrates, in fact, told the Athenian jury at his trial that he was innocent and that they were the ones committing the grave sin. And he told them, he said, history will judge you. They're not judging me, because I'm not doing anything wrong. You're killing a man innocently. Or, sorry, you're killing an innocent man. That is wrong. So he doesn't mind dying. He doesn't mind giving up his life and his life with his children. He doesn't mind sacrificing everything. Why? Because what's more important to him? Justice. Abby.
Has there been any time you were going through the experience when you do need to think about things, or is this all just no emotion? Like, think about things. Do you understand where I'm coming from? It's really hard for me to imagine that putting any feeling or
Absolutely.
decision-making.
Absolutely. And here's what I'll say in that regard, Abby. So you're asking, when will I get to an ethical theory which will embrace me in my entirety? Like everything that I am. Because I'm not just a brain, I'm also a heart, I'm also a soul, I'm also a whole bunch of other aspects of human experience, right? Just as Golding said. There's more than just Piggy roaring around. Piggy would do very well with this, by the way, right? Wouldn't he? Why? Because it's all logic and it's all analysis. But some of you have critiqued Piggy saying, yeah, he's totally inhuman, right? Some of you wrote that in your essay, that that's one of his downfalls. So you're saying the same thing about this, that it's great in that it's rational, but it's not very human, and I'm a human being. I want something that will embrace my experience. Plato's not going to offer it. Most Western philosophical theory, up until about the 19th, 20th century, won't offer it. It's not until women start to gain more power on college campuses, in intellectual circles, that things start to shift. Because most men, historically, are perfectly happy with this. They're happy with getting rid of emotion that they seem to think is irrational and therefore less valuable. But we've seen through Simon that the irrational is sometimes very valuable.
But all this makes sense. It makes perfect sense, but it's just weird.
Well, it's just, I think instead of saying weird, you should say it doesn't fulfill you. It doesn't seem to give you everything that you need when you're thinking about your own personal experience. Yeah, absolutely. Many, many people have criticized it for the same reason. Tori.
I was just wondering, like, I know these ideas are what he had, but are these stories? Like, I don't understand how much of them are true.
That's an excellent question. Plato scholars believe that many of the earlier dialogues of Plato are probably either discussions that he witnessed or discussions that he heard about secondhand from somebody else. So pretty close to accurate. And then later dialogues is when Plato just started using Socrates as a mouthpiece for his own philosophy, and therefore the dialogues are all fictionalized. Both especially the Euthyphro and the Apology, which comes in between the Euthyphro and the Crito, are seen as earlier ones, probably more like Socrates' actual thought and experience. But it's difficult for us to know exactly why, or exactly where's the dividing line. But there's a fourth one, the Phaedo, which is the dialogue that takes place right as he's about to drink the hemlock, basically on his death site. That everybody believes, oh, it's totally fictionalized. It's all Plato going nuts, and there's no Socrates left in there. And if you read Plato for long enough, you can see the difference. Last questions? Okay, then that's good enough for us today.